Virginia, Chef Damien here. So it's been a little while since I sent out a video, and I was kind of thinking of what to do, and it just wasn't, it was a little bit of a chef's block, writer's block thing. So I was down today shopping for my family. A certain dish was requested of me because chefs never take a day off. And I went down to my local Kroger to buy food, and it just hit me from the time I walked in the door. We all know what's going on. The prices of all goods are skyrocketing. And I said, well, what are we gonna do? And I started kind of walking through, and I went over to the meat section, and meat really went high. I even briefly considered becoming a vegetarian, but I know I'd lose my will to live if that happened, so I gave that thought up real quick. But I said, the price of meats are so high, we really have to start taking a step backwards and stop going to those convenient cuts. And I'm generally not a convenient cut guy, but I wanted to share with you a video on what you can do at home. Maybe you don't know how to break down a whole chicken. And I kind of thought that, you know, doing some whole chickens and just doing a brief video, this one just kind of came to me in a quick flurry, so I hope you enjoy. Some tools you'll need. You'll need a ratty ass towel to put underneath your cutting board because you don't want your cutting board to slide. I've already been hollered about how nasty that towel is, and it shouldn't be on video, so I'm doing that one on purpose. You'll need a knife to break down the chicken. Now listen, this is what the professionals use a lot of times, but if you want to walk around like this, feel free, go ahead. Probably not a good idea to use a cleaver. You need a knife that has a little bit of backbone, so any knife that kind of does that, you don't want to use. All right, this is a slicer. I know a lot of you guys have those little blocks at home that have all the specialty knives in it. You don't want to use that. You obviously don't want to use a little tiny knife. Can you make it work? Sure, but you know, some fingertips and fingernails might be lost in the process. You want something called a chef's knife. Has a nice backbone, has a tiny bit of flex to it, but not a whole lot. It's going to be nice and rigid and stiff. Now listen, as we're cutting these chickens down today, I know some people are going to say, well, that's not the way I was taught, or that's not the way I was doing. And I might even give you some hints throughout on what to do and what not to do other cuts. This is the way I was taught. This is the way I do it for the particular dish that I'm making. It's up to you if you want to change things a little bit. All right? So I've unpackaged my chicken. I've washed it briefly in cold water, and I've patted it dry because you don't want a slippery chicken rolling around on your cutting board, plus the mess it'll make. So really simply, here's your whole chicken, right? Wings, legs, thigh meat, breast meat, right? We have a cavity. In that cavity is a spine, right? So for me, I take the spine out. Some people, especially with Southern cooking, like leaving that spine in because it is a lot of flavor and it'll add a lot to your cooking. But for what I'm doing and the people that eat, I remove that spine. I'll put it in the pot so I get the flavor from it, but I won't necessarily leave it on the breast. So I remove the tail. My knife is going to go to one side of the breast, of the backbone. I'm going to go all the way through until the knife is poking out through the front of the chicken. And I'm going to use leverage. I'm going to push down on the top of the chicken and use leverage. You can hear the crunching. Draw it through and see it split it once already. And now I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to come through, get around the neck bone, push down, and keep pushing the heel of my knife through. Okay? Sometimes you don't go all the way through the skin, you just gotta cut it. There's the backbone. So if you're making chicken soup later in the week, maybe you save those for chicken soup, something like that. You cut them up, you make a beautiful chicken soup. So now, this is called the spatchcock chicken. So all you gotta do is kind of break the bone a little bit, spread it out, and you could just grill this or roast it. It'll roast in a much shorter period of time. It'll be nice and beautiful. That's spatchcocking, okay? So, now, half chicken. Flip the chicken over, heel of my knife right in the clavicle here, the back side, right? You can kind of see where it is. Heel down, I'm pushing down, and I'm grabbing the front of my knife, and I'm pushing through. Whatever you do, make sure your fingertip isn't underneath the heel of your knife. It's gonna be close, but make sure it's not underneath. I mean, unless you like going to the doctor or something like that. All right, half chickens. So if you need a half chicken, there's your half chickens. You'll spend an extra 25 cents a pound getting a half chicken from the butcher. And And look how quickly I've done it. All right, quarter chickens. So we got halves, we need quarters. All right, so we had a little technical difficulty. You might have noticed a little change in the cinematic value in the video. So we're at half chickens. Half chickens. Meat will tell you where it wants to be cut. You just look for the lines. You can see lines all throughout. And see, the skin is actually very kind of loose here. So all I'm gonna do is kind of cut along that loose skin. One. You can see there's almost nothing connecting it. I can almost just pull it apart with my hands, right? I'm just cutting loose skin, tiny bit of meat, getting right here, through. You've got quarter chickens. Quarter chickens, probably another 10 to 15 cents a pound to get a quarter chicken. I just did it. When you go to the store and you buy leg quarters, this is a leg quarter. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put the breast up here for a moment. So leg quarters. Chef Damien, how do I get the leg quarters apart? I want thigh and I want leg. My son likes eating thighs and my daughter likes eating legs. So again, there's a line there. You can see it. It's a patch of fat. You just kind of nick along that line. Okay, and you're gonna feel a bone. You can kind of stop at the bone if you want to, but actually my knife was sharp enough so it cut right through the bone right away. So thigh, leg. We'll try that again. I'm gonna show you the trick I wanted to show you. So we're just gonna remove a little bit of the skin, kind of make a break. Sometimes chickens are a little tough, so if they're tough, you just gotta do that, and that'll separate the leg from the thigh. And now the knife's not gonna go through. So all you gotta do is a little crunching time, okay? Thighs, legs. So now we're at a 6 cut. I want an 8 cut chicken. That means the chicken's been cut in 8 different ways because this breast is huge. So now this breast is gonna take a lot longer than these in the pot to cook. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the wing intact. What you could do if you want to is you can just kind of do the same thing with this wing, snap it, and then just with your knife keep drawing around and it'll come off just like that leg came from the thigh, but I'm actually gonna leave that on there. All I'm gonna do is now kind of a rough cut. So this isn't gonna be a real sexy cut because it's just separating these two. But I'm gonna have a nice piece of bone in here for flavor. I'm gonna have a nice piece of bone over here for flavor. And I just kind of eyeball about what half of the breast is gonna be. And again, it's all about fulcrum. It's not about power. Right? It doesn't have to be strength, but that's why you have a good knife. Good knife will do all the work for you. You don't have to be as good as you think. Okay, again, fulcrum. Tip is down, hand on top, push. And just keep pushing until it goes through. This is what we call 8 cut chicken. Okay, spine over here, tail. If you're making Jewish chicken soup, tail goes in the soup so you can get schmaltz. Schmaltz is all the chicken fat that we use to cook with. But that's your 8 cut chicken. I'm doing 2 chickens. So for anybody that's curious, what I'm making today is something called chicken puppy kush. This is something from my background. It's Hungarian. It's just a simple chicken dish. It's not much different than chicken and dumplings or stewed chicken or anything like that. Just uses a lot of paprika, sour cream, a little bit different of a cooking method, but not much different. Guys, this is good for grilling, this is good for stewing, this is good for frying, whatever you want to do. And now you've saved, I didn't memorize the prices, but I want to tell you, you saved a couple of dollars just doing this. Probably for the package, you've saved about $4 or $5 at least. So hope this was helpful. A little bit quicker than some of my other videos. Let me know if you liked it, and if you want other videos like this that maybe are a little bit of a money saver for you. Good luck, guys. We're all in it together, and anything you need, just give me a holler.